Hey, good morning. Okay, so due to popular demand, I'm going to give you a quick 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, what is Bitcoin, okay? And a bit of background to Bitcoin so you can start understanding exactly a bit more about the cryptocurrency and the leader in this field. So Bitcoin was registered in 2008, 2009. There's a fictitious figure, which means fictitious person, called Satoshi Nakamoto, which apparently was some Japanese guy who mined and designed and introduced Bitcoin, invented Bitcoin. That's not true, okay? The registered site bitcoin.org is protected. In other words, you can't identify who registered that site, so the background to it is all very, very grey, it's very, very foggy, not really sure what's going on regarding the registration. But Bitcoin is a virtual currency, so it's not centralized, it doesn't belong to any government, it's not part of a centralized payment system, and can be moved through exchanges, okay? So you have one exchange to the other, will move that currency from one area to another. Following on from Bitcoin 2008, 2009, many other currencies called cryptocurrencies were designed, developed, mined, and introduced to compete on a payment basis with Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is the market leader. Now, Bitcoin ever only mined 22 million coins. So there is an opinion amongst all of those cryptocurrency traders that the value of Bitcoin can only go up due to its limited supply. That is true. It could only go up due to the supply factor. However, it's also impacted by high risk and other economic factors. And what the Bitcoin traders are hoping that you can remove it from any type of economic impact or economic crisis, and it becomes a standalone payment structure, stable, transferable, identifiable. However, the problem is as follows, is that we go into the identifiable part. It's not identifiable when it comes to KYC, know your client, or money laundering. It's still used by a lot of terrorists and a lot of money launderers and a lot of scammers to get money out of you, and becomes untraceable by using multiple processors and multiple servers globally, whereby it's hard to trace where that money has actually got to. It takes a hell of a lot of forensic examination to identify that money. So Bitcoin is introduced as an alternative to centralized money transfers. Centralized money transfers would be that money used by banks, central banks, with the dollar, the pound, the euro, the yen, the Swiss franc, etc., Canadian dollar, Aussie dollar. So Bitcoin, or followers, Bitcoin traders, have this hope, have this view that Bitcoin eventually will replace all of those centralized, standard run money transfer systems, okay? There is a view that that might work, but the other view is that it won't work, because there's very few governments will allow that to happen, okay? Very few governments are going to allow, in my opinion, are going to allow a decentralized payment structure like Bitcoin to take over their national currency and their payment structures. They could incorporate it within their structure, but it's unlikely they're going to allow it to take over completely, because the value of a country is based on the value of its currency. And therefore, to start using Bitcoin as a replacement, say, well, a country now's value is based, whether they should invest it or not invest it, based on its Bitcoins, is not really satisfiable to the institutions and to the central banks. But it could be used as an additional payment method. Now, there was also concern that Bitcoin will be temporary and will end up washing itself out or leaving completely the arena of payments or financial assets. That's unlikely now, because it looks like it's well embedded into the financial regime, into the financial structure. So the likelihood is that it's going to be continuance going forward, and it will probably grow in its popularity over the years. That means that those traders who are bullish on it believe that's going to go to $250,000 a coin or more. Could be, okay? By simply Excuse me, my phone's ringing there. Let's put my phone on silent. Excuse me, 1 second. Okay, in the middle of a broadcast. So you could have a situation where Bitcoin could move up to those levels. I don't think it will, because it's quite a high risk asset. And without regulation at the moment, only a few countries have regulation, but without general global regulation, then it really is a ungoverned form of payment. The regulation will probably come in over the next few years. For example, Japan has regulation on Bitcoin. So when the exchange FTX collapsed and crashed, then all those Japanese clients, or all those people who had an account at the Japanese exchange on Bitcoin under the regulation, got their money back. So there is advantages to having it regulated, and obviously if it's regulated, then that also would reduce the level of money laundering to a significant lower level, and that could attract governments and economies and central banks to want to regulate it more, because they could then be excluding all of the unwanted people within the industry, like the terrorists, like the money launderers, and obviously like the thieves and like the scammers. Okay, so that's an interesting one regarding regulation. So again, Bitcoin is a virtual currency run on an exchange. When you trade Bitcoin or trade any cryptocurrency, obviously do your research regarding that exchange. As you've seen in the past, some exchanges have just simply disappeared, like FTX and like Gemini, and now there's problems with another bank called Silvergate Crypto Bank. Okay, so you need to do a bit of research into your platform to make sure that that platform is stable. Regarding other cryptocurrencies and the sector is very, very large. There's hundreds and thousands of now cryptocurrencies. A lot of them are probably going to stay worthless for donkey's years, and some will grow in value. It's creating its own penny share as if marketplace, where you can invest in a crypto and hopefully one day it will turn around from a low level company up to a very high level company. So I'm hoping this has given you a little bit of background on cryptos and on Bitcoins and how they work. And this is Mayor Walensky with Driving Markets. Have a good day.